wasn't it? I'll tell you just a little bit about that piece. So Bitscape, built off of sounds indicative of popular 8-bit gaming systems of the 1970s and 80s. So parents, that one was for you. Yeah. Beginning with a simple sine wave along with the sounds of the instrumental ensemble, this piece paints a sonic landscape of a retro style known as chiptunes or bit pop that originated in the mid-1970s. So yeah, hopefully some of those sounds were familiar for you all. We had a blast with it. I've gotten really interested in electronic music mixed with acoustic music, and we've done a number of pieces at UNF that bridge that gap between electronic and acoustic and build them together. So I wanted to share that with the students. One of my goals with my students, as well as any of the students, any young musicians I work with, is to kind of grow their horizon of the type of music that they experience making. So we've done a lot of creative things over the last 2 days in regards to music making. Our next piece, Planet B, and we've also had some videos from composers. So Kathy LIKHUTA, a friend of mine, is the composer of our next piece, and she's down in Australia, but originally is from Ukraine, and lived in Ukraine for a number of years till she was 25, and then moved to the United States, and now is in Australia. And this was her first piece for a high school band, was Planet B. She wrote a lot for professional musicians and for university ensembles. And when she was asked to write this piece, Planet B, well, she was asked to write a piece for high school, and she thought, what would high school students really be caring about? And she saw the catchphrase, I guess, on Facebook that we need to take care of our planet, there is no Planet B. And she thought she was going to write a piece about taking care of our planet. And the way Kathy explained this to us in a video about how her composer brain works, she saw a cartoon of the Earth. So we start off at the beginning of this piece. Imagine a cartoon of the Earth. And the Earth is crying, it's hurt. It's like a wounded animal. You're going to hear this in the music that we play. And as we go through the music, then you hear the protests of the youth. And they say, enough is enough, we need to save our planet. And then we cycle through to the healing of our planet. We hear, you know, like the storm clearing, the sky clearing, things are green, the birds are singing. And then we go back out, we zoom out, and we see the planet Earth now healed, green, and peaceful. So we hope you enjoy Kathy LIKHUTA's Planet B. Great hands. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, absolutely. Our next piece, also an Australian composer. I didn't mean to do that. This piece by JODIE BLACKSHAW is really special because JODIE leaves a lot of opportunity in her music for musicians to be creative and to explore different ways of performing music. And we've done quite a bit of that within the scope of this piece. The piece Into the Sun, really from the words Into the Sun, you wouldn't know what it's about. And the story is quite important. So I'm going to take a little bit of time, this way percussion can get settled too, to just tell you the different sections, kind of similar to Kathy's piece as well. So this is a scrapbook of stories told by many of their passage to Australia, whether it be as free settlers in the 1800s, or post-World War II immigrants or refugees seeking asylum, with a focus on those who came to Western Sydney region. It's roughly in 6 sections, so you're going to hear these different sections of music. In the first section, this is the arrival. The piece begins looking through the eyes of a 6-year-old child in the late 1940s. She is with her mother and father when, after a 6-week voyage, she sees the lights of Sydney for the very first time. And so she reflects in her stories, in the story of this girl, she reflected on the lights that she saw that were like a fairy tale. In the second section, we have a new land, a new life. Once on the Australian soil, a train or a bus, you're gonna hear the train or a bus took people to the migrant camp. Imagine finding yourself on a train with hundreds of strangers, few possessions, little money, and completely surrounded by foreign landscape. Here you may hear the sound of the train and a feeling of trepidation. What's gonna happen? The third section is in the camps, and this is confusion, camps and confusion. So in Western Sydney, they housed immigrants in St. Mary's, and often the train traveled there through the region to the Bathurst migrant camp. People lived in very basic accommodations that were previously used for army personnel during the war. For many, arriving to these camps brought anxiety and sorrow. Married couples were separated, and men were sent to work shortly after their arrival. So in this section, Jodie actually has 3 different themes that happen. And she describes, you're gonna hear these 3 themes in surround sound. She describes these as vulnerability, quiet determination, and the third one is hidden grief caused by the loss of loved ones and everything that once meant home. So we talked a lot about that feeling of being somewhere new and being a little bit lost for a bit, but also maybe like having determination to succeed at the new, what you're doing that's new. After we go through this section, we have acculturation, a yearning for home and all that is familiar. So for anyone who migrates to a new country, even for myself, I'm Canadian, maybe you're picking up on my accent a little bit, but there's always this feeling of, this time of acculturation, the process of adapting to the new way of life. And this is documented in the poetry of different Australian-born people. The second last section, opportunity with newfound, you're like, how long is this piece? Don't worry, it goes by fast. The opportunity with newfound enthusiasm. So let me get a section that feels uplifted, and we're gonna hear, hey Danny, do you have your ugly stick there? Is it Danny who's playing it? Who's playing? Oh, thank you. Can you hold that up nice and high? Mr. Seth made this for us, so we gotta show it off. Yeah. So that's the logger phone, or up in Canada and Newfoundland, we call that the ugly stick. So it's a folk instrument that rattles a lot, and you'll hear this, it's used in a lot of Australian folk tunes too. So we hear that music, and then, oh my goodness, tubas, I almost forgot. Both the ending and the start of this piece start with a tuba-doo, which is a didgeridoo sound on the tuba. Tubas, can you do that for me? Okay, that's great, thank you. We're good. Yeah, so you hear, that's on purpose, okay? So when you hear that wavering, it's not just tubas out of tune, this is on purpose. This is the didgeridoo or the tuberidoo, we call it. So we hear that, again, thinking of the Australian Indigenous people that were there at the beginning, and they're there still at the end too. So this is Into the Sun. It's a different musical experience for us all. So we hope you enjoy. You might feel moments of discomfort, and that's okay with Jodie. We just want you to feel something. Got it? Good, okay, here we go.
students, band directors, and Flagler schools, we would like to thank you for your work with the 2023 Flagler All-County High School Band. Ladies and gentlemen, please give the band and Dr. Bodnar another round of applause.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I hope that one, isn't that cool, the sound on the outside? Okay, good. I heard one yes out there. Thank you. Okay, so before the final piece, I just want to say my thank you. So this is the difficult thing about being second, because Charlene said everything already. So everything she said, plus I just have to say that we on stage are some really creative individuals, beautiful music makers, and just really fun human beings. So I absolutely enjoyed the last two days with them. We had a blast. We had a lot of fun together, making music, exploring things, exploring sounds, and we're gonna, if you feel that you need to stand up and dance in this next one, we're gonna let you do that, okay? And it's so funny, everybody's uncomfortable, right? Yeah, do it. Okay, so we're gonna have fun here and get you on your way. So this is a little bit of South American music. We got Colombia, Venezuela, Cuba. Yeah, get ready, it's a party.
so much for coming out and supporting live music in Palm Coast. And have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Drive safely.